Woo! The power has been with you. Wait a minute. And you, and you, and you, all along. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never tuned in, the name of this YouTube channel is Applied Consciousness. And what we talk about on Applied Consciousness are things that you can control within yourself. The external reality is just a reflection of what's inside of you. Now, a lot of stuff has been going on. It's been going on a lot this year in 2020, and we're getting ready to wrap this year up. And if it's anything that I've noticed, it's change, besides the fact that change is imminent and the old world is no longer going to be in existence any longer. We as a human collective need to be more in tune with what pain and sorrow really means to you on this personal journey, on this journey of existence that we live on. And I want to, if I name this topic, name this one, it's going to be called sacrifices. Now I want you to really tune in and pay attention and focus on what I'm getting ready to say. Because from my experience, this is what has propelled my life. This is what helped me beat what I call my dark night of the soul, or being a targeted individual. This is the things that have helped repel me or shoot me, projectile me into my business to make it expand and grow. And it's a word called sacrifice. Now, the sub under the word sacrifice are two friends of mine, and I call them pain and sorrow, or suffering and sorrow. You'll hear me reference them. I'm going to start this by saying this. When I was in prison at 19 years old, I remember calling my mother, and she gave me, she told me she was going to send me a book that she really wanted me to read. And I really didn't want to read the book. I was trying to find a way to get home earlier. I did not want to be there. It was a terrible place. I just didn't want to be there. And I read the book, and it was called Hinds Feet in High Places. And it was basically about this lady. It was like a goat. And she wanted to ask the shepherd, or God, how can she live on the top of the mountain instead of in the valley of sorrow? And the shepherd told her that if you follow me, I guarantee you'll be perfect. Then you'll have the ability to live at the top of the mountain. And I'm just paraphrasing the book. But the thing that caught my attention the most was the two guides that God, or the shepherd, was giving to the sheep so that she can make the transition or the ascension up the mountain. And the two guides that they gave her were sorrow and suffering. Now you would think right now in the story, like, why would God give the sheep sorrow and suffering to help her go up the mountain? You know, that just doesn't make sense. You know, why not give her joy and peace, right? And as it continued, I started to see how that story paralleled my life. And that's why this topic is about sacrifices. It's about being comfortable in sorrow, being comfortable in pain. And so much that I want to say in this one. I'm usually not a person that's gasped for words, but I want to make sure that you all, ladies and gentlemen, can understand this, and you can make more sense to what's happening in your reality. Pain and sorrow were the experiences that we feel when we're going through obstacles. Can't pay your bills, being gang-stalked, not enough money to make it to work, people complaining at the job, you don't know if you're going to keep your job. The reason we consider it pain and sorrow is our perception. When you dive deeper and you look at through the microscope, you'll realize that pain and sorrow was actually your blessings. It was actually joy and peace. But the problem is, we as human beings try our best to avoid the pain and sorrow, thus living in the experience of pain and sorrow longer. Now, I'm going to use an example how this reference to my life through what I went through when I was a targeted individual, when I perceived myself as a targeted individual. If you haven't watched any of my YouTube videos about gang stalking, you should go and research them. Go down to the, scroll down, and I have tons of videos that explain that experience. It's not really about that experience, it's more of how I overcame it. I embraced the fact that I had no control of what those people were doing to me. That means I took the hand of sorrow. I grabbed the hand of pain, and I endured through the process as I ascended up the mountain. And what I realized was it would have been impossible for me to become the Trey that I am now on this YouTube channel, to speak to you, if those events never occurred to me. See, the reason it was pain and sorrow was because I perceived that as I wanted to hurt those people for what they're doing to me and my family. But then I began to embrace it. I began to say, each day they're giving me an opportunity to be my best self. That means they were giving me an opportunity to be happy and peaceful in the midst of despair and anger and all of the negativity that I was experiencing. And when that catalyst, what it was doing to me was giving me the fuel so that I could make it up to the space station. It was giving me the fuel for my rocket so that I could propel myself to space. And now when I look back at gang stalking or being a targeted individual, I look at it as that was the best period of my life. It was one of the best experiences. It's like it gave me a 50-year college credit, in 3 years. And I learned so much from that dark experience. But one of the reasons that I've experienced, and I see why people live in lack, why they continue to live in misery, it's because they fear having to endure the pain and sorrow. But what they were actually doing were they were telling the universe, or telling God, or telling the Creator, or telling the I Am that I don't want to accept the guides that you've given me so that I can become my better self. See, it's sometimes comfortable in your captivity because at least you know that you'll get 3 meals a day. At least you know you got a hot cot. At least you know who are the bad guys out to get you. But see, to let go of what you are familiar with, it's scary. To let go of what you are somewhat comfortable in can be sorrowful. It can be painful. But remember that a diamond does not become a diamond sitting in pretty blue ocean waters and nice little tinge of sunlight with a nice breeze. No, the coal becomes the diamond once it experiences the immense heat from the center of the earth, from the pressure of the tectonic plates pushing and grinding and heating and supercharging that black piece of coal for a very long time before it becomes what we all look out as the diamond. And what they say, diamonds last forever. They last forever because they have embraced their personal legend, that they must go through what we might perceive as tribulation, that they must go through these things to become the bright diamond. And if you are right now one of the people that are going through some things, you have 2 choices. And remember, life is the choice. That's the whole purpose of the game, baby. What do you choose to resonate at? Do you choose to stay in the valley of despair, of misery? Is that where you choose to stay because you're familiar with that? Or do you embrace where you're at and say, every day that I'm here, I'm going to look at this as my training ground? You see, This experience that's coming to me is sent to me by the Creator to make sure I am greater. Imagine a man that's trying to build muscle. He lays at a bench and there's just a bar. Now, he knows that the more weight that he holds onto that bar is the more pain of pushing that weight up. And even after he's done pushing the weight, the sore arms, the fatigue, the sweat in the clothes, gotta take another shower, the aching bones, that sounds like pain and sorrow. And he does it, or she does it, day after day after day after day, and then the summertime comes, and it's time to go to the beach. That experience of pain and suffering, by adding the weights, which is the pain and the sorrow and the exercising and the fatigue, and I want to do other things, they will reap the reward at beach time. They'll be outside with their shirts off, and it'll be the guy's bad, hey, he put a shirt on. And no, he put the work in. He was willing, or she was willing, to sacrifice for their personal legend, or for their agenda, or for their goal. But so many people on this planet want the happy meal, the drive-through, put no work in, don't go, hunt the animal and plant the seeds, just want it fast and want it quick. And that's the road to what I call destruction. Because anything that you want in this reality, you will never receive it without the sacrifice. And when you understand this principle of the universe, you will understand that sorrow and pain all along was joy and peace. And when you grab the hands of the sorrow and pain and accept its pain, accept its sorrow, and say, what can I learn from this experience? How can I, as a multidimensional being, learn from this experience? And when you start to grasp it that way, you'll start to realize that pain and sorrow, again, is joy and peace. It's abundance and prosperity. And this is the road, this is the path that one must take to enlightenment. Until now, you'll get to a point like I am, when an obstacle occurs, I'm kind of like, got another one. So I'm getting ready to level up. I have more stress in my reality. I have more work to be done in my reality when things are just going too well, because I started to depend upon the jet fuel that helps propel me. And that phase, if you're still one of the ones that looks at everything as pain and sorrow and I just rather give up, you are still learning to be the alchemist. See, there's levels to this consciousness. Now, I believe that I've mastered the alchemy. Okay, and that doesn't mean that I've arrived. There's no arrival. There's no destination that you arrive to. I'm now going to learn how to be the wizard, to be able to create from nothing, and that is extremely hard. So if you're being targeted or you're having these obstacles, trust me, those things, once you learn it, you'll realize that those are your blessings, and those are actually there to assist you, to propel you up the mountain. You have to have the fire. You need the fuel to be able to ascend. And if you are past that portion of your conscious experience, or understanding or overstanding, then you might be where I'm at right now. And that's a totally new topic. And that's called living in the now. And being able to create something from nothing without any repelling. Like right now, there's no people gang stalking me. It's, for years I used to say, man, this is weird, right? And I had became accustomed to it, and it was easier for me to elevate. But right now, if you are one that still looks at things as, I don't want to sacrifice, it may behoove you to know that that sacrifice that you're taking by grabbing the hands of pain and sorrow is actually your joy and peace. It's actually what you needed to go to the next level. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, all I am doing ever when I'm making these videos is giving you my personal experience. If it's not something that serves you, let it go in one ear and out the other. But if you are a deep diver, if you're one that says, hey, I know it's more than life than what I was told in a book or what they taught me in school, and you're right now saying, how can I go to this next level? It feels as if I've been stuck here. If you look at what's been going on, you may notice that you have been avoiding the pain and the suffering and the sorrow. And it might be time to embrace those things. And in the midst of that fire, and in the midst of that immense pressure that you are experiencing, just know one truth, that it too shall pass. And once it passes, you will be the bright, shining diamond. Like I always say, live, love, and laugh. And namaste, namaste, namaste. Peace. We must make sacrifices in order to achieve our goals. There's a thing called energetic exchange. In order for you to gain, you must give. Every time that you breathe in, you have to give back. When the trees give you the oxygen, in return, you have to give back the carbon dioxide. And when you start learning these principles, you start to become what I call the alchemist. Also, if you are a deep diver and you want to know what some other books to read, you should go to Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. It explains this journey in detail. And it's something that I believe that all deep divers should experience. Hey, hit the like button. We want to get this algorithm going. We need to be able to go get this message out to multiple people. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned, because I'm here all the time to give my experience and in hopes that someone else might can learn from it. Hey, peace. Yep. Woo! The power has been with you all along.